Story 1. Her kids dropped the popcorn, so she asked me for a broom to let them clean it up themselves. I said it wasn't necessary, but she insisted that she wanted to raise them to be conscious of the fact that when they make a mess, someone has to clean it up. Nice lady. 5 out of 5. Story 2. Very friendly, usually gets a root beer to start and a coffee after their meal. Eats out on break from lunch daily, usually wants quick service and minimal interruptions. Sometimes eats with a client. Usually tips well. Made many additional requests throughout the meal during peak dinner hour. Left the table disgustingly messy. Did not tip well. This guest is awesome. Likes to take suggestions, so offer a drink and make sure to have some lesser-known dishes memorized. Will talk to you for as long as you let them. I would mostly try to let other waiters know what to expect from tables. Story 3. Came on opening weekend of one of the biggest movies of the year 5 minutes before the showtime, and then was shocked they had to stand in line for their concessions. Then complained to management that they missed their movie. Like, what did they think was going to happen? Like we'd have a reserved place in line for them because of their obvious VIP status as King Dushalord of Asland? Story 4. You were the most unreasonable person I have ever met. Every single person, from the ushers who are volunteers to the other patron who offered their seat to you, wanted to help. I wanted to help you. I know when you are unable to transfer out of your wheelchair, it is a frustrating situation. It must be absolutely maddening when the house manager cannot remove the seat in the center of the theater, which was bolted to not only the cement floor but to the rest of the seats in the row, so you can put that wheelchair there. I'm sorry that our Americans with Disabilities Act seating was at the front and rear of the theater and not where you purchased your ticket. I'm sorry that when you called our box office, you did not mention your inability to transfer out of your wheelchair. But you did not need to yell and curse in front of everyone waiting to watch Miss Saigon. You did not have to hit me. You are the first and last person I ever issued a refund to just to get you to stop screaming. When you needed to get back to the lobby and were unable to push your wheelchair back up the ramp, I again tried to help you. First, I offered to push you up myself, but you insisted I should not touch the wheelchair. Please note, no one had ever called me those words before. Kudos to your creativity. I then offered to find your now absent husband or boyfriend. It wouldn't have been hard to find him, for he was at the bar ordering his third whiskey. The lobby had only been open for 20 minutes at that point. But again, you vehemently declined assistance. But I must say, it was rather astounding when you stood up and proceeded to walk the wheelchair back to the box office of your own volition. I say astounding because when your husband or boyfriend asked why you were leaving, and you said because you didn't want to sit in our messed up seats. I then assumed you had a condition whereupon sitting for long periods of time caused great discomfort. I then asked if there was a way to further accommodate you so that you may see the show. Then your husband called you an old bat who was just trying to get free tickets. She's not disabled. It's all an act. I bid you both good night. 1 star. I would have given you 0 stars, but I reserve that for the person who tried to kill me because a queue line wasn't moving fast enough for their liking. Too long. Didn't read. Woman tried to fake needing a wheelchair to get free tickets, which she almost got until her significant other ratted her out. Not the worst experience I've had in nearly 15 years of customer service gigs. But it was close. Story 5. A drunken fool tried to return a half bottle of booze because it tastes off. Watch him get in his car and promptly call the police to report a drunken driver. Story 6. Becky and Judy, 5 stars. After 2 glasses of Tempranillo, Judy is going to order a half glass. Ask if she went to physical therapy today for her shoulder. If she did, give her the full glass. Becky will wink at you. Story 7. A customer walked in the front door of my closed, curbside-only pub today and asked if we had any steak. He had to ignore a giant sign saying, "Please stay outside. We will bring your phone or online order out to you." 0 out of 5 stars. I almost had a rage stroke. Edited to add. This is the second time he's done it. Story 8. Nice, pleasant man. Always orders the same sandwich every time, making preparation simple despite the complicated sandwich. Tips well, never talks longer than it takes to complete his order. Also, the only male regular over 50 that doesn't leer at my underage coworker. 5 stars. Story 9. She lied about her hair history, wanting white blonde in one session on her virgin dark hair that the strand test determined was a lie. She said she could do it herself at home but turned her hair orange instead. She came back for a color correction, and after explaining why she couldn't have blonde, she said she'd settle for anything but orange and lighter than dark. She got a beautiful chocolate caramel color and cried because it wasn't blonde and was too expensive. She also left no tip. -5 stars, not worth my time. Story 10. Guy comes in the middle of the festival, no reservation by car, and blames me because it took him 2 hours to go to the entrance of the city to my hotel because there are 200,000 people walking around the streets and police barricades to help the flow of pedestrians. Then he blames me again because he did all of this for nothing because we're full. What did he think would happen, walking in with no reservation during the city's largest festival? 1 star, would not recommend. Story 11. Apparently, the basic front desk bell is too complicated a mechanism to operate for this person. She also demanded that I reduce her rate because we ran out of complimentary coffee and she couldn't wait the 2 minutes it would take me to make a new pot. She insulted the housekeepers too. 0 stars. Wow, my first silver. Thank you, kind stranger. Story 12. She walked into the store and complained that outside smelled of gasoline. I told her we would address that issue as soon as an employee became available to do so. The customer is apparently unaware they are pumping gas at a gas station when complaining about the scent of gas. Perhaps she could consider not inhaling it while filling her tank? Edit. Holy smokes, my most upvoted comment ever is about someone smelling gasoline. Story 13. Literally hunkered down in the basement with the gunman upstairs, detectives on the phone, another pregnant, crying customer, and all the staff, and this person still had the nerve to ask if his watch was done being repaired before the first shot rang out. Then proceeded to scream at the detectives that this was a huge inconvenience. He had clients waiting at court and needed this to be over with. Story 14. The curly-haired young guy with glasses and a baggy skater vibe dress sense clearly smokes a lot of weed. He comes in high, orders food, and is always just so polite as a customer can get. He sits on a chair, waits for his order, and has this silly smile on his face, staring at nothing, about 3 times a week. I don't know you, but I love you, bro. Edit. I should mention that I'm a stoner myself, so I love the guy even more. Story 15. This rich, entitled woman spent the entire time making me run constantly for her party of 12 and was never satisfied or appreciative. I kept serving them with a smile, which wasn't always easy. When it came time to drop the bill, I left it on the table and informed them that the tip was already included, since they were a party of more than 8 people. So there was no need to add any extra unless they wanted to. She literally stood up. She stood up and started causing a scene in an entire dining room full of people about how she shouldn't have to pay because she had to ask me for things the entire meal. It was a buffet. What else could you possibly need? Plus, I got you everything your heart desired. I mean, I guess I could have offered more, but I digress. She complained to the general manager, who was always a pushover, and let her go without tipping a single penny. This woman is horrible to serve. Do not ever accept her table. You will truly regret it. I've seen her come in since, and even if she sits in my section, I always give her table away to somebody else. No way am I ever even trying to look at you again. Lady, get some decency. Story 16. I just wish the lady who cuts my hair would discreetly tell me if I'm a good tipper or not. Edit. While I'm at it, how much goes on the tip line of a takeout receipt? I'm just making that up as I go. Totally not ready for reverse Yelp. Story 17. Gah. She practically drinks all the salsa and I keep having to give her refills. Her chip to salsa ratio is seriously questionable. Otherwise, she's nice enough. Edit. I misread the question. I thought it asked what review someone would leave of me. I am the salsa lover. Story 18. Worked in a grocery store years ago. Kid keeps running up and down the aisle. Turns a corner and smacks right into a corn syrup end cap. What a total mess. Kid is covered in syrup. Mom comes up to me and demands I find clothes for her child to wear. Without skipping a beat, I asked her if she wanted paper or plastic. Would not recommend that mom shopping there again. Story 19. A customer ordered a frappuccino with no ice, then got upset because there was no ice in it. When we asked if she wanted ice, she screamed at us and said no. I hope she stubs her toe every day for the rest of her life and that she gets cheated on. I would give 0 stars, but Yelp requires me to give 1, so I guess good job at wasting space. Story 20. Stupid person kept trying to order a cheeseburger without cheese, even though I was trying to save her money by suggesting to instead order a hamburger. Fast forward 30 seconds and she paid for the cost of a cheeseburger, but without the cheese. I hope she choked on it. 1 star. Story 21. 0 stars. Followed me around during my graveyard shift asking where to find a prostitute or strip club, and then talked about how he loves to engage in inappropriate behavior in prison. Took photos of my chest after trying and failing to record me saying something inappropriate because I refused, and saying that he can tell I shave my privates. The only upside is he got himself banned from every establishment in our province, and I never have to see him again because he was an American tourist. Story 22. This stupid old man threw a tantrum over canned noodles. I told him it was on the shelf, but he insisted there were bags in the boxes on top. I told him the boxes were full of the same can brand, but he didn't listen and started to cause a scene. I went to get my cart with a step stool on it to show him, but he started hitting his cart, yelling, "Damn it." I got so angry I ripped the box off the top shelf, and cans went everywhere. He just said, "Guess they were cans," and walked off. 20 minutes later, he comes back and buys the cans. 0 out of 10. Story 23. A middle-aged lady insulted the staff and yelled, "Valentine's Day is meant to be about me," when she was served a fish that was smaller than her husband's in length. She refused to pay for the fish after eating the whole thing. She asked for a finger bowl to clean her fingers and threw a tantrum when she saw there was no lemon with the bowl. I went and personally cut her some lemon for the finger bowl. When I gave it to her, she told me my attitude was disgusting because I smiled too much. She made me sweep away a puddle for her so she didn't get her shoes wet. She could have easily walked around the puddle. But no, she insisted, "It's Valentine's Day. I don't have to walk around the puddle. Today is about me." She didn't leave a tip, and I hope she never breathes. Story 24. Right now, all good. I miss my customers so much, even the bad ones. I told my least favorite customer in the world the other day to say hello to his wife for me. I hate her too. They are both awful. But I think he was about to cry. He literally stopped in his tracks, turned around, and said, "We miss you. This sucks. And you know what? He's difficult. But I miss him too. Maybe this is a reset for us all. Maybe when we get out of this mess, we can all do that. Maybe we can just not be difficult and take each other for granted. Maybe we can appreciate all the things we take for granted. And if not, I'm still going to be happy to complain about that difficult person at table 3. He's difficult, but at least I get to complain about him again." Story 25. Kelsey brought her entire group to get tattooed. All 10 of them are turning 18, but only Kelsey is getting a tattoo. She refused to listen to my advice on the size and kept insisting I make it smaller and smaller, specifying she would like it just a medium size, but really dainty and cute. When it came time to do the tattoo, she wasn't wearing the right clothing even though she'd thought about her horoscope sign for weeks. Her friends convinced her to move it several times before we discovered the initial placement I made was the right one. When it came time to pay, she tried to haggle my price by telling me she had a cousin that got his own tattoo machine and that he would do it for a third of my price. After all that, even though I did it perfectly, she had no concept of tipping. 0 stars. Story 26. Had a customer that was on the phone throughout the whole order while I was trying to make her burrito and kept asking what she wanted in it, and she wouldn't answer. So I started to wrap it up, but then she began to yell at me because she wasn't done yet and complained about how I needed to do my job better. Meanwhile, she was still talking on the phone, and we had 30 other people in line because it was rush hour. 0 stars. Maybe try not to be so difficult next time. Story 27. Uber has a system like this where they rate passengers. I like it. It means good customers get full ratings and are more likely to get drivers responding to them. Bad customers will go to the back of the line. I'm proud to say that I am a 5-star passenger, which really isn't that big an accomplishment. It just means that I was well-behaved and sat there like a normal person while they drove me to my destination. That's all it takes. Customer service swings both ways in my opinion. Good customers should get good service, and bad customers should be given the bare minimum or removed if they're abusive or disruptive. Story 28. A woman today came up to me demanding for us to make her a vegetarian burger. So I simply told her that this is Taco Bell. She did not take that too well and started yelling. I told her to please stop, but she continued. So I would like to give her 0 stars. Story 29. After not reading our cards-only sign, she tried to pay in cash. After being informed we couldn't take cash, she threw a temper tantrum and cursed us out. 0 out of 5 stars. Edit. The only reason we're not accepting cash is due to the pandemic. Usually, we really don't care,